I'm Kyle Myers. I'm an athlete. Well, I'm a former athlete, coach, father, author, and someone who's been told since I was a kid all the things that I wouldn't be able to do. My story starts on a baseball field in New Jersey. There was a routine ground ball. The third baseman scoops it and fires it over to me at first base. But instead of the ball landing in my glove, it hit me square in the chest. The impact of the ball hitting me wasn't the concern. I don't even remember feeling any pain. But it became the catalyst to something that would impact me harder than the ball did. That moment, an uncharacteristic error, was just the start of everything that came after. Within days, I was sitting in front of a neurologist hearing words no 14-year-old athlete ever expects to hear. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. That means that you'll always feel like you played a game before the game even starts, the doctor told me. You'll get migraines that'll make your ears ring, and sometimes you won't even be able to see clearly. Playing sports at a highly competitive level will not be possible for your future. They encouraged me to quit. But the words that stuck with me, the words that changed the way that I saw everything, it came from a teammate's father. He was a big guy, even bigger presence. He always wore gold jewelry and dark sunglasses. He spoke with a thick North Jersey, Long Island type of accent, the kind of voice that made you lean in and listen. He didn't say much, but when he did, it seemed like it had more value than everything else everyone else was saying. "Hey, you ain't no quitter!" He said quitter, but his accent, I heard quitter. It made me laugh a little, but I knew what he meant, and he had my attention. He continued, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade." And those words became the philosophy that shaped my life. From then on, it became my responsibility, with every opportunity, under any circumstance, to make lemonade. I didn't quit. I didn't quit football. I didn't quit competing. I didn't quit life. Instead, I learned to manage adversity like it was an opponent. I prepared. I studied. I outworked it and prepared my mind to outlast it, the adversity. MS eventually did take baseball from me. I had optic neuritis, the condition that changed depth perception, and it caused my skills to diminish quickly. I felt like I was non-competitive on the diamond. But it redirected me to the football field, a place where I eventually found purpose, family, the value of leadership. I could run fast, but I was never the fastest. I was strong, not the strongest. I was a solid player, a serviceable contributor, but I was never the star of my football team. I wasn't some prodigy, but I was committed. I did deadlifts and squats until I couldn't stand. I ran the stadium stairs until my legs quit working. I committed to learning new ways to train, new positions. Committed to being a better teammate and a better leader. I committed to showing up, even when my legs went numb or my vision was blurry. Some days my symptoms would flare when the game was on the line. I started several games that I wasn't able to finish. There were many days I felt like maybe the doctors were right and I should sit down, but I didn't. If I could stand, I stood, literally. I kept going because resilience is not about being unbreakable. I fell apart many times, but when I couldn't stand, I found other ways to contribute. It's about being unstoppable, even when life's roadblocks force us to change how we move. And that's the lesson that applies to all of us, athletes, washed up athletes, students, parents, executives, all of us. I reinvented myself. I'm constantly reinventing myself. Our circumstances sometimes do that to us. I've never seen it as a bad thing, though. MS redirected me from baseball to football. Football redirected me from running back to linebacker. Coaching redirected me into leadership, leadership into business, then into higher education. Now I'm a sports and business administrator working in higher education. I'm from what some people call a concrete jungle. I didn't have a yard most of my life. I had pavement. We played football in the street and talked trash, a lot of trash. If I ever saw someone with a golf club, it'd be because they were using it as a weapon. Sport wasn't very popular in my neighborhood. Then in 2020, I became the first Black person to manage a golf course in North Dakota, ever. Weird flex, right? I didn't know a damn thing about golf in 2020. I thought handicap meant you get to park your ball closer to the hole and putt before everybody else does. Like a courtesy. But still, somehow, I got the interview to manage a golf course. Then the offer. Then the keys to the entire operation. So what do you do when you're hired to run a golf course but don't know anything about a course or golf? You do exactly what I did. You get up in front of your new staff on day one in the first meeting, and you announce to everyone clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. The crew laughed like I was hoping you would, but they also leaned in. There was now a little crack in the old trust doorway, the trust corridor, the old trusty transfer. Sorry, I'm kind of corny. I use weird metaphors, but you know what I mean. In my experience, authenticity builds trust faster than perfection does. And together, a rookie golf course general manager, a group of college kids, and a small but experienced grounds crew, we built what became one of the best 9-hole golf courses in the entire region. We grew revenue, we survived COVID, and we worked out of a trailer for 5 years after the pandemic squashed the new clubhouse plan that we had at the time. We created a culture where people wanted to be associated. The grounds crew kept the physical course in high regard. The staff did everything in their power to be a highlight in someone's day. And their effort allowed me to try to figure out what a handicap actually was. We overcame the things I didn't know with vulnerability, clarity, and encouragement for everyone to be a leader in their own role. That's how we define teamwork. I'd like to share with you some of the things I learned, and I'm still learning. 1, lead with honesty, not ego. When you don't know something, say so. Another person in a room might know the answer. People don't respect fake confidence. They connect with realness. Number 2, leadership is service. I don't make the staff clean the bathrooms. I'm capable. I walk the deepest into the reeds every spring to collect the garbage that blew in. I ask them to take care of the edges. I work beside them. I don't just sit in my high chair and tell them what to do. And leading that way doesn't mean that I'm just bad at delegating. I think we all have our own balance. 3, people over position. Some of my proudest moments have nothing to do with wins or revenues. It's when people who I coached or mentored in some way say that they're better because of something they learned while working alongside me, and it helps them impact others' lives. That's the kind of leadership I call significant. And 4, talent earns victories, culture sustains it. Create a culture where people feel safe, valued, and trusted, and they'll exceed your expectations. Create a culture where you don't have to ask staff to pick up the garbage they saw on their walk-in. They pick it up not because it's their job, but because of the trust and ownership that they've developed. I was at an athletics administrator event once in Los Angeles amongst hundreds of college reps. Someone asked, "They got brothers up there at North Dakota?" They were jokingly serious. I said, "No, they got me." It progressed since then. It's not just me anymore. I went on to explain, when I don't fit in, I stand out. I take the power out of the awkwardness of being alone and flex the power of bringing my whole self, imperfectly bold. There's power in thriving in places where people like you have never been. But the real message is, You belong where you worked to be. Take no shame in beating everyone else to the spot, and box out once you get there. Take pride in what you've earned. Take pride in who you've become. I was a linebacker and 2-year captain for a Division II college football team. I didn't quit when I was 14 and doctors said that it would be too hard. Then I coached football and really learned how to lead. Then I led in business and in higher education. Eventually, I merged all of those skill sets into a dope sports management resume. The ripple effect of resilience and transformation is why I stand here now. My journey has become lifelong. It took me from New Jersey to North Dakota to a place called Point at the Bluffs in the Pacific Palisades. It was this picturesque cliff before the fires, on the edge of LA overlooking the Pacific. I sat next to a stranger on this little bench. It was the perfect spot for a perfect view. We shared a brief conversation about how neither of us was from Los Angeles, but still a wide range of experiences, adversities, and opportunities both brought us to that same spot at that moment, watching one of the most beautiful sunsets we've ever seen. Then she said one sentence that defined my entire life. Just a handful of simple words that, when put together, can inspire a person to keep going even when things are the hardest. Can help a person to keep fighting, moving forward, find a way to stand even when there are none. She said, "Hey, I ain't no quitter." I'm just kidding, that's not what she said. She said, being here right now, getting to see this, is the result of me constantly doing the best I can with whatever I have, wherever I was. And it hit me. That's it. That's the story. My story, your story, everyone's story. Whether you're fighting multiple sclerosis or another debilitating condition, or if the odds seem to always be stacked against you, or you fail but had the courage to get yourself up and try again, the journey won't be perfect, but the view you'll have once you persevere will be perfect. I encourage you to show up, to turn your lemons into lemonade, to be resilient, and in each chapter of your life, it is your responsibility to do the best you can with what you have, where you are, because you ain't no quitter.